Let us consider an example. Each of these pie charts gives you a different piece of information about your class. Find the fraction of the circle representing each of these information. A. 1/2 of the circle represents boys and the other half of the circle represents girls. B. 20% or 1/5 of the circle represents bicycle. 40% or 2/5 represents scooter and remaining 40% or 2/5 represents bus or car. C. 15% or 3/20 represents hate for mathematics and the remaining 85% or 17/20 represents love for mathematics. Probability. Consider the experiment of tossing a coin once. What are the outcomes? There are only two outcomes, head or tail. Both the outcomes are equally likely. Likelihood of getting a head is 1 out of 2 outcomes, that is 1/2. In other words, we say that the probability of getting a head is 1/2. What is the probability of getting a tail? It is also 1/2. Now, take the example of throwing a dice marked with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 on its faces, one number on one face. If you throw it once, what are the outcomes? The outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thus, there are 6 equally likely outcomes. What is the probability of getting the outcome 2? It is 1/6. Number of outcomes giving 2 upon number of equally likely outcomes. Similarly, the probability of getting 5 is also 1/6. When the two factors of a product are the same, the product is called a square number. For example, 9 is a square number since it can be written as 3 into 3. So, 1, 4, 9, 16 and so on are square numbers. Squares. In mathematics, a square number, sometimes called a perfect square, is an integer that can be written as the square of some other integer. In other words, it is the product of an integer with the same integer. Square numbers are non-negative. For example, 4, 16, 64, 225, etc. In general, if a natural number m can be expressed as n square, where n is a non-zero integer, then m is a square number. Properties of square numbers. 1. No square number ends with 2, 3, 7 or 8. A perfect square always ends with 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9. For example, 4, 121, 100, 25, 36, 169, etc. are perfect squares. A number ending with 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9 may or may not be a perfect square. For example, 10, 21, 34, 65, 76 and 89 are not perfect squares. 2. If a number is even, its square will be an even number. Otherwise, it will be an odd number. For example, 4 square equals to 16, even, and 7 square equals to 49, odd. 3. Given the ones digit of a number n, we can easily determine the ones digits of its square, n square. Ones digit of n, 1 or 9. Ones digit of n square, 1, 2 or 8, 4, 3 or 7, 9, 4 or 6, 6, 5, 5, 0, 0. 4. The number of zeros at the end of a perfect square is always even. For example, 10 square is equals to 100, 20 square is equals to 400, 30 square is equals to 900, 40 square is equals to 1600, and so on. A number ending with an odd number of zeros can never be a perfect square. 5. A perfect square always leaves a remainder 0 or 1 on division by 3, but conversely, it may not be true. For example, on dividing 10 by 3, the remainder is 1, but 10 is not a square number. 6. Twice of a perfect square is never a perfect square. For example, 2 multiplied by 4 is equals to 8, which is not a perfect square. Square root. Finding the square root is the inverse operation of squaring. 3 square 9. 9 square root 3. The square root of a given number x is the number whose square is x. Since 7 square is equals to 49, the square root of 49 is 7. Since 12 square is equals to 144, the square root of 144 is 12. Finding square root through prime factorization. Let us find the square root of 144. The prime factorization of 144 is 144 is equals to 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. So, square root of 144 is equals to square root of 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 equals to 2 into 2 into 3 equals to